All right, welcome to Mike and the Hoss of Wolfeboro Community Television. This is a little bit different for us, Coach.
It is.
So, just so you guys know at home, we tape on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And so we did that this week. We taped on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yep.
And it is now Thursday, and we are home from school. And as you know, the world knows, COVID-19 is a big deal.
It is
and it has
huge.
really affected what we taped on Tuesday.
It did.
Because we talked about some things like March Madness, and we talked about basketball and Celtics and Bruins, and
We talked about sports.
we talked about sports. But that's what the show is about,
Yeah.
sports. Well, over the last 8 hours, there's basically no more sports happening right now.
No, they canceled the NCAA tournament. The NHL suspended their season. The NBA suspended their season. The NBA has 2 players now confirmed that have COVID-19.
One with local ties.
Yep. Donovan Mitchell, who
Yep.
graduated from Brewster. So hopefully speedy recovery, obviously, to everyone that's infected. And then what else? MLB has canceled spring training
And delayed their opening.
delayed their opening for 2 weeks.
At least.
Yep.
You know, and everything's for now.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned all the colleges that have canceled many colleges have canceled their spring seasons.
Right.
Ivy League canceled their whole spring sports season.
Right. And I heard Amherst College canceled their spring
Amherst
sports.
College.
There's a lot of schools are doing that.
And so now we're seeing at the school level, the high school level, this is championship weekend for many
Right.
of the sports, and
Yeah, tonight, the NHIA tonight, a couple of the games they've
already
postponed.
canceled those.
Yep.
They canceled the Spirit Championships.
Yep,
They canceled
some of the Unified
semifinals,
Championships.
The Unified Championships. You know, based on that pattern, it's probably going to happen that the stuff this weekend is going to get canceled too.
I would think so.
My son's New England regional hockey tournament, the
Right.
championships, was canceled.
Yeah.
And we had just got word last night that it wasn't going to be canceled, and then we woke up this morning and they said it was.
It was.
So this is very fluid, and
Right.
you know, decisions are being made every hour. And if you had your phone with notifications
Right.
on for
It's just
CNN,
blowing
ESPN,
up.
or whatever,
Yeah.
I mean, it was happening minute by minute.
As of right now, what we know, this is 5:00 on Thursday night. The Bruins alumni game is still on, but that could change too. But we know that's on, and then we also know we joked about this earlier. The XFL, and the WWE. Vince McMahon, they just had a press conference, and they are moving on with their seasons and shows and performances.
And they are literally going to be the only game in town.
Yes.
So the ratings are going to finally spike for Vince McMahon.
For the XFL. So we're in a predicament because we talk sports, but I just think just talking to you right now, there's a lot of things we can talk about, and one of the things that we'll maybe hit on our next show is what about these seniors in college? Do they get another year of eligibility? Kids that might be.
Well, I'm gonna bring up somebody that we've had on our show before, Brendan Donahue.
Yes.
We had him last summer on our show.
He's going to be a senior.
He's a track star at.
He is a senior.
He is a senior. He's a track star at Bates College. Right now, he's in North Carolina for the Winter Track Championships.
Right.
They've canceled his spring season.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, this one's hits home for kids that we know.
Of course.
And they've worked all 3-4 years to get to this point.
Right.
Have a chance to set records. Brendan's very successful. He's not the only one. From Kingswood, that is a senior that is at college right now playing sports.
Right.
And these seasons so my heart goes out to them.
Definitely.
Because it's a lot of hard work, and anybody who's been affected this. But obviously, it's safety first.
Yeah.
And the precautions that everyone has taken. I think are reasonable.
Right.
I mean, it's scary times, but I think it's better safe than sorry.
Definitely.
They say, and I think that's where we're at.
Yeah,
So,
and I think not to downplay our show, but it's it's sports. It's supposed to be fun. So the safety is paramount for everyone, and as what they say, this too shall pass, and we'll get through this, and we're gonna. I'm not worried. We got good stuff to talk about.
we do?
Yeah, we do.
So we're going to be bringing you a show about wrestling next week.
We'll talk about 80s wrestling, Andre the Giant.
So it's going to be all discussion. We'll come up with some topics for next week.
Definitely.
But,
Maybe have some guests.
Until then, please be safe, wash your hands, and we will talk to you next week. So now that we've done all that, we did tape a show on Tuesday, so we're going to go with that. Some of the material that you might hear might be not relevant to what's going on, but hopefully you'll enjoy the show. There are some discussion topics in there. Good afternoon. Welcome to Mike and the Hoss on Wolfeboro Community Television. I'm Mike Danais.
And I'm Charlie Hossack.
And with us today we have Alex Drea.
Yes.
Welcome, Alex.
One of our favorite guests.
That's right. This is actually becoming a yearly event for us because this is National Trainers Month. Did you know that?
I did.
I'm sure you did.
I've gotten lots of emails that have told me that.
Really?
Oh,
yes.
That's great.
A lot of congratulatory emails and happy National Trainers, like happy
Happy
birthday.
National.
Lots of ones that say, hey, post this so everybody knows what an athletic trainer does.
How do you celebrate it? Somebody
Me?
give you like a tape or?
Usually it's more about just publicity for the profession, just letting other people know what we do. You guys have a pretty good idea what I do, but a lot of the general public, they're still learning.
Yeah.
There's a lot of facets to what I do, so each year they try to focus on a different facet of athletic training and what we do.
Well, we like to think of this as an educational show.
Yeah.
So,
One of the things I was thinking about doing next time is maybe we'll have Mike up here, and you can tape him up and do a little,
Why would I give away my trade secrets?
Well, I hear you. So
why me?
why not you?
Why?
Yeah. All right.
All right. So, Alex, it's been a year since we talked to you. How is from a trainer's perspective, how has your year gone?
It's been a pretty busy year for me. We've had some significant injuries that I've had to deal with. Some pretty good wins, some pretty sad losses as well.
Yeah.
A lot of differences in the programs from last year, just in personnel, both at the player point and the coaching point. Personnel behind the scenes has been a little bit different, so it's just been a different kind of year it's been keeping me on my toes.
Okay. We had the strength and conditioning coach on here earlier this year, and we were talking about the reduction of injuries. Have you seen that?
I have.
Okay.
Yes. With the teams that have gotten into the weight room, I have seen a reduction in those overuse injuries.
Nice.
Some of the traumatic injuries you're going to get no matter what. There's only so much you can do.
Right.
But a lot of the overuse type injuries have seen a significant decrease in those with those teams that have been in the weight room.
That's great.
Yeah. Without putting you on the spot, I don't want you to name a team, but if, as an athletic trainer, you do so much for every season, do you have a particular season that you enjoy more than others?
For me, really, the spring is kind of my time to kind of sit back, relax a little bit. It's not quite as intense for me.
Okay.
Because I know lacrosse is contact, but it's not football. It's not hockey.
So football
Soccer.
is pretty demanding athletic training-wise, just by nature of the sport. So that makes the fall a little bit tough, and then we've got a number of teams going all at once, trying to be everywhere at once.
Right.
The winter, a lot of late nights. Hockey's pretty intensive. Basketball actually is pretty intensive as well.
Yep.
And so that makes for a lot of long days. And then, but the spring, everybody kind of goes at once. Everybody's out there practicing at once. Lacrosse, both boys and girls, are pretty much the quote high risk sports.
Right.
And other than that, it's a lot of lower risk category sports. So it's not quite as intensive for me, not quite as demanding of me.
Well, I know that my question, there's no typical day in the life of an athletic trainer, which I understand, but can you take us through your day here at Kingswood, when you arrive? And I know you do, and I'd like you to talk about this. I know you do more than just be an athletic trainer. You're also teaching.
So I teach. I'm helping out with the strength and conditioning right now as well. So typical day for me, I'm getting here during the school day. I teach 2 classes right now, and that's in addition to the athletic training. That's all just something separate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm teaching those 2 classes.
What are you teaching?
Environmental science and an EMT program.
Oh, that's
Nice.
fantastic.
Nice.
Is the EMT program, is that through our technology center?
Yes, through the technology center here at the school.
That's great. And so kids take that course and then they're eligible to become basic EMTs?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
So they're eligible for certification and licensing in New Hampshire once they. So you have to have your EMT certification, and there's a couple other requirements that you have to have, like being 18,
Right.
those kinds of things, in order to get licensed in the state of New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
But this is that first step, and that big step for them is so they get that educational component to get their certification, and then they can go on. They turn 18, they get a license, they can now work on an ambulance, work as a first responder.
That's great.
So you teach those classes in the morning,
Yep. I
and
teach
then
those.
you move into your athletic.
And then I move
trainer
into athletic mode. This winter, I spent the first probably 2.5 hours after school kind of splitting my time between strength and conditioning and athletic training. Fortunately, the weight room and the gym are right next to each other, so it's easy for me to be able to bounce back and forth.
Right.
The coaches have been very accommodating with helping to supervise and that kind of stuff. But so I'm doing all the programming, getting everything set up, getting teams going in the weight room, as well as getting everybody taped up for practices, supervising medical aspects of practices, and then being on standby for games, that kind of stuff. And so that takes me through the end of the day. So I'm kind of just there for practices.
And you never know what's going to happen during that day.
Right. Yeah, I never know what's going to happen. It could be anything from I sit there and watch a basketball game to I end up having to call an ambulance for somebody for
For the staff student basketball game?
for an injury that happens. Yeah.
Well, I was just wanted to throw the athletic training question. So you do. I mean, I've seen you work. You're amazing. It's quick, but how do you determine? Like, if I'm a player, so let's assume I'm a football player, and I come to you. How do you determine like that I need my ankle taped or I need my elbow taped? And what I'm kind of getting at is, being a high school player, it's kind of cool to visit you, which I get, and I want to get taped up because it's kind of cool to see a little bit of tape on me. So how do you go through like determining what's real and what isn't?
So if you move your thumb around and it hurts, I tape your ankle up. I'm just kidding. So it's all a matter of. So athletic training really is looking at an internal problem and finding an external fix for it.
Okay.
So taping an ankle is all about providing stability for that ankle because the ligaments on the inside aren't holding it. So you've rolled your ankle over, stretch those ligaments out. Those ligaments don't tighten right back up.
Right.
So you have to rely on the muscles to keep your ankle from going. Your muscles are designed to move. So what the tape does is it basically provides stabilization from the outside.
Okay.
Same thing with an elbow or a knee or something like that. If it's something that's going on and it needs to be stabilized, work to stabilize it. If it's something where something isn't moving well enough, then we do things to kind of help that process, to help move things better.
Right.
Well, this is a side question, but when I was in school, I remember everybody on the basketball team had their ankles taped. Is that still the norm?
No.
Okay.
No, I've only for our varsity guys basketball team, there were only 2 players that got taped this year, and that was as a result of injuries.
Wow.
Right. They rolled their ankle and then.
But remember when in school,
when we were younger,
everybody would line up on the table, and
but it wasn't an athletic trainer doing it; it was the coach.
That's right. That is true.
Well, and knowledge has changed, so they found that taping all the time actually makes the ankles weaker.
Yeah.
And there's other issues with it as well.
And the Converse Chuck Taylors didn't really provide the support that.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Technology all around has improved. Knowledge all around has improved.
Right. And then one other thing is the different. What is and you know this? I don't know the different types of taping. So there was a player yesterday went to the Kingswood playoff basketball game, and he had like a spider web of tape on his shoulder.
Yep.
What is that?
It's kinesio tape. Most likely, I didn't see it.
Yep.
But
It was.
It's most likely kinesio tape.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can do with kinesio tape. Kinesio tape is a newer emerging kind of thing. There's a lot of things you can do about it. I only know the very basics of it.
Okay.
You can help stabilize a little bit. You can help activate muscles. You can help with drainage from an injury. So like when you get injured, there's fluid collection in that area. That's what that swelling inside is. So certain applications of kinesio tape can help facilitate draining that fluid out so that you heal up a little bit faster.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of different things you can do with it.
I think you taped me up with the kinesio tape at some point. I forget what it was, my shoulder or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember it really felt like it was supported.
Yeah, if you feel it in your hands, it feels like really lightweight and stretchy. You don't think there's no way this is going to do anything. But once you've got it on, it's like it's magic.
It is. It's like magic.
And I've seen you before, and I know you can use ultrasound, right, to reduce swelling and
so to speed up the healing process.
Okay.
All right. So Alex. Mr. House is watching, the SAU is watching, and the Governor Wentworth School Board are watching.
Okay.
You can have anything that you want. What are your dream needs for the program?
Really, the 2 big things: full-time strength.
Yeah.
Just really, strength and conditioning should be a full-time position.
Sure.
They spend a lot of time working with the teams. They've got a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that they do. It's not just walking into the weight room and picking things up and putting them down.
Yep.
There's a lot more that goes into strength and conditioning, and having somebody that's knowledgeable and is being paid for their time to do that is hugely important. The other thing is extra help in the athletic training end of things. I cover the high school and the middle school. There are very few other athletic trainers in the state that have the kind of coverage demands that I have. I've got teams at the ice rink, and here at the high school sometimes I've got teams at the Nick and here at the high school going on at the same time. I've got ski teams out and about, cross-country teams running around. I've got stuff going on at the high school and at the alumni field all at the same time.
Right.
And then I also have just the sheer number of athletes and teams is very large load to handle.
We got to let you go, but this brings me to my next one. Is there the ability to have like student interns that could do something like taping of ankles or
So from the
Getting the ice.
liability end
Right.
of things, you could have somebody helping out,
yeah.
but they still have to be under my supervision. I have to have eyes on them
You
and
have to-
watching what
You
they're doing.
can't send
That's
an
tough.
intern to the Nick while
Yeah.
you're here.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like, I mean, it really sounds like we need a second athletic trainer. I mean, we having that person be able to, if you're covering
At least
here,
a part-time person.
yeah,
you
at
know,
least
that-
if you're covering here and someone's at the pop, or
Yeah.
that's important. But you missed the most important thing, I think, is talk a little bit the gator, right? We need a gator, right?
That would be helpful as well, yes.
Yeah, we need to get
Yes.
you a gator, one that you could put me in the back of and drive me around.
All right, Alex, congratulations on National Trainers Month.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We plan to see you. Hopefully, we're here next year at this time.
I hope so. It's all up to Timothy.
It is, and we plan on having you back in March next year.
Excellent.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Alex.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mike and the Hoss. Coach, we've been around a little while now, so we're
Yeah.
going to get repeat guests. I like
know.
it.
It's awesome, and like I said, having Alex on, Alex Tree is a gem. He is so important to Kingswood athletics and really Kingswood High School. Just being part of our program.
Do you know that there is a little competition out there
Really,
about how many times guest appearances they get on our show?
really.
I'm just saying that
Okay.
there is a little
You know
competition out
who
there.
we're going to hear from tonight?
Yes, Mr. Potenza.
Coach Potenza. Yeah, we're going to hear
Because
about
he,
it.
he deems himself the number one guest, and
Yeah,
I think he just tied now with no, he's still ahead.
he's ahead because we
He's-
did the
he's at-
halftime interview.
Halftime interview, preseason,
Yeah.
and playoff preview last
Yeah,
year, so
yeah.
he's still ahead.
All right.
So you're all set, Coach. We went to the boys' basketball game. We said we were going to recap their season.
Yeah.
We hope that we were going to get to another show with them. They played Bow last night in the preliminaries. Bow was the number 2 seed. Kingswood was the number 15 seed, and it looked like a 2 versus 15 game.
Yeah, it did. It did. But it was just being able to just kind of sit there and relax and enjoy a basketball game. Kingswood basketball should be proud.
Absolutely.
They have a
Absolutely.
bright future.
You know, they hadn't seen the playoffs for a while.
Yeah.
They'd gone through a few seasons where they didn't even win games.
Right.
And they went up against the big boy in a playoff game.
They did.
And those boys were big.
They were big.
You know,
I mean, we
figuratively
joked about
and literally
this.
they were big.
They actually had 10 starters.
Yeah.
Like their 5 starters, they would like come off, and then 5 more would come on, which were starter caliber.
Well, and we have a couple, big kids, Carter Morrison, Ethan Arnold.
Yeah.
And they put 5 or 6 kids out there that were all bigger than him. At one time, they had everybody on the court
Yeah.
was bigger than our biggest guy.
Yeah.
And those kids could shoot.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
They're a good basketball team.
Kingswood had they had their hands full last night. They played hard, and they were able to get to the basket, and they
Yeah.
made a couple runs, but the depth that Bo had, and just the pure, you mentioned they had 10 starters.
Yeah, they did.
They had 10
did.
starters. I mean, and
to think that Bo is the 2 seed
well,
because Conval's the 1 seed.
yeah, and they're both 17-1,
Yeah.
and Coach Place actually, I saw him today. I was
Okay.
trying to get him to come on, but
Yeah.
he didn't want to hang around. But excuse me, Coach Place he's picked Bo to win the
Okay.
whole thing.
All right. Well,
He thinks
knows,
they're
yeah.
better than the Conval team.
Yeah.
And Bo has Kennett. Kennett won their game.
Okay.
They won their playoff game, and so they play Bo. So it'll be interesting to
It'll
see
be-
how
yeah.
they do. I mean, I'm going to pick Bo right now,
Yeah, I'm gonna
based on
pick
what we
Bo,
saw
too,
last
yeah.
night.
Yeah. But I've seen Kennett. I mean, Kennett's not bad, but Bo is excellent.
Yeah. Looking forward to the spring. We're going to start talking about some spring sports.
Yeah. Tryouts are coming up.
Tryouts are coming out. Tryouts are not next week,
Not next
but the
week.
week after.
Yep.
And
Start like the
so-
23rd of March.
And so it's going to happen quick, and so we'll probably get an episode more or two before we get the coaches in there, because we want to have them in after they do their tryouts,
Right.
when they see what their teams are looking like.
I mean, it does remind me, if you haven't registered for spring sports, you have until the 15th.
Yep.
So you don't have much time left, so register for spring sports.
Yes. That's Family ID.
Yep. And then how about the other thing we've got coming up Saturday?
Saturday we have the Bruins alumni game.
Yeah.
1 o'clock at the Pop. I haven't seen a roster yet for the
For
Bruins.
the Bruins, yeah. I was hoping that would be out.
Maybe
Just
it
to-
is.
just
Maybe
to-
we just
yeah.
haven't caught up to it. But that's 1 o'clock, and they are looking for volunteers.
Yep.
For that, so that's free admission if you
Yeah,
want
if you
to get in there.
volunteer, and
there are tickets available.
it'd be great.
All right, we got about 10 minutes left, and I'm starting with the Celtics.
Okay.
And
They're struggling with it. They're struggling beating teams that they'll need to beat in the playoffs.
Well, they're struggling beating teams that they should beat anyway.
Good point with that.
And I just, you think, first of all, are they going to pick up anybody?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? They're going with what they
I
got?
think they're going with. I think Ainge is going with what he's got.
Okay. Are they a year away? Do you think that they see themselves as not a championship team this year, and they're going to try to get there next year?
Well, I mean, I think
Since they didn't pick up anybody?
Yeah, from an athlete's perspective, they want to win it this year,
of course,
obviously. But I think Danny Ainge and the organization, I think they're a year away.
Okay. They were knocking on the door for the 2 seed, which is huge because then you don't face the Bucks until the finals if you can get that far.
Yeah.
They're slipping back to the 4 seed because they've lost some games. We talked about the Houston game. They lost the Brooklyn Nets the other day,
They did.
and that was a bad loss. I'm going to talk about that one in a little bit. And I had put down in our notes, let's talk about Marcus Smart.
Sure likes shooting the 3.
Oh, God. I love his defense and, his aggressiveness and the attitude. But when they're depending on Marcus Smart for scoring, they're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. And Marcus's shot selection, I don't mean shooting threes, but I mean shooting threes when the rest of his teammates are behind him. There's no one down there to get a rebound.
Who does he think he is? And I think that he deems himself as this, I'm not going to say Kyrie, but one of those upper echelon point guards, maybe like a Westbrook or something like that. Yeah. And that's not who he is. And you look at the box scores, and the worst thing that you can see in a box score is Marcus Smart 5 for 7 from threes, because he's going to be chucking it up for the next 10 games,
I know.
And you're going to see
good.
0 for 5, 0 for 6, 0 for 4, 0 for 5.
Right.
I don't like it when he makes shots because every shot that he makes is usually 6 or 7 that he misses.
Right. Shoot or shoot, right?
Shoot.
But he should be passing the ball and playing defense.
Although the Brooklyn game, did you catch the end of that game?
Yeah.
I mean that was they gave. I mean they obviously laid down and they let them back in. It wasn't a bad look. It was a bad look for the Celtics.
Yep.
But they Brooklyn needed a 3 to tie.
Yeah.
And Smart fouls him.
Yeah.
He fouls him. I mean, with no time left. I couldn't believe it.
Yep.
And fouled the guy that had like 50 that game.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but
he went out there. I mean, he just had to put his hands up. He didn't have to, and he just went aggressively.
Which you want, and you don't want to knock the aggressiveness, but it seems that too many games are lost from stuff that Marcus Smart does rather than won. And I know he's a great defender, and they're winning games because of him.
Right.
But boy, he just has the intangible piece that wins him games, but the direct piece that loses him games. That you can point to and says, "Why in God's name did he take 17 shots today?
Right.
Made 3."
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's frustrating.
All right. Red Sox.
Yeah. So I mean, last time we were talking, we thought Sale was going to have Tommy John surgery.
I still think he is.
So, well, they ruled it out for now. I agree with you. He's probably going to have it, but how? Just look. Let me back up here. Looking at Chris Sale, he is the thinnest man on the planet. He's got no beef.
He's
whatsoever.
all ligament.
Yeah, he's pretty much all ligament, and he's going to break down. And if he's starting to already break down, and we haven't even started the season, I'm worried about that.
This is one of the first times that he's thrown since they shut him down last time.
Yeah.
And he gets inflammation the day after.
Yeah.
So let's just say that he doesn't get the surgery and that he's quote-unquote healthy. Does this mean that he throws 3 innings, 10 days off, 3 innings, 10 days off?
Yeah.
That's the guy you want to pay $25 million for the next
helpful.
6 years? No, that's ridiculous. At this point, get the surgery.
Yeah.
Be done with it. He'll come back stronger, and they can pick him up for the last 4 years of the contract.
Right.
But this limbo, especially, let's even say that he gets healthy and he starts throwing 7, 8 innings at a time.
Yeah.
Everybody's in the back of their mind is going to be, when's this thing going to pop? When's this going to pop? When's the inflammation going to happen?
It's a time bomb, right? Ticking time bomb.
So that's not a good thing. Evaldi's pitching very well.
He is pitching well.
But he's got an injury pass, too.
Yeah. I'm hoping Evaldi pitching well will translate into the season.
Right now, the Red Sox are looking like the $200 million Tampa Bay Lightning, right? Rays, Tampa Bay
Tampa
Rays,
Rays,
Tampa Rays, because they have 3 designated starters and they're planning on using openers.
Yeah.
Your $200 million payroll and you
Right.
can't afford the 4th and 5th starter.
I know.
It's not good. Can you name me one pitcher they have in the minors?
I can't.
Neither can I.
Yeah,
So that's not a good thing.
No.
Bruins, they had a big fight night against Tampa.
Yep, they did.
They lost that game. I'm going to give credit to Tampa. They had lost the week before to the Bruins.
Yep.
You know, these are the 2 best teams in the league. Tampa came back.
Yeah.
Obviously got a lot more physical, and they won the game.
They did.
It was
the Bruins were down 3-0 and then scratched their way back into the game.
Yeah.
But
Fun game to watch.
yeah, absolutely.
But you know, the Bruins are the Bruins right now. I wish they would change the nickname for their top line.
yeah, you don't like
The
it?
perfection line. What is that?
Perfection.
What is that?
I don't know.
I mean,
Apparently it means they're perfect.
well, you're perfect. You don't lose games. Come up with something different.
Yeah,
It's
you're
just, you know, I don't know. We'll save that for another time. All right, Brady, where are you at this week?
All right.
You know,
So
there's only 6 days before
I know.
free agency.
Well, we had talked yesterday. He opened up his big announcement. He opened up his movie production company.
Yep, 199.
199. So that was exciting. Which I guess it's exciting if you're into that. But the interesting thing was he had said that he was going to kind of go, you know, radio silence. He was going to vacation with his family, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
we hear about that. As far as where I'm at, I think I'm still at Tom doesn't return to New England.
I am now. Last week I said he's coming back to New England. I
Yeah.
am now moving away from that.
Yeah,
He's done a great job keeping this tight to the vest
he
because
has.
you know the mystery team
Yeah,
is Tampa.
Yeah.
Now Tampa's getting going
Yeah.
on this because Bruce Arians, the quarterback
Yeah.
whisperer, is talking that if he brings Tom in, that he would be like a co-offensive coordinator. They would
Right.
just run his stuff, whatever he wants to do,
and the Bucks have a great offensive line.
and they have receivers.
Yeah,
So
they're the
you know,
7th best
Mike
offensive
Evans,
line.
Chris Godwin.
Yeah,
they
so-
have a tight end down there. So
Beautiful climate to play football in too.
it is, but it's certainly not one of the great franchises. Is
No.
it?
Well, no.
I don't know.
It used to be when Gruden was there, but so you think? Are you thinking? I mean, if you had to pick, well, I'm gonna ask you this: if you had to pick today, okay, say when he's not coming back to the Patriots, who does he sign with?
49ers.
Okay, I'm still on the 49ers as well.
Well, and my reasoning is based on the 49ers that they have not come out and said no. We're with
that
Jimmy.
would be the easiest thing for them to do.
Just for the sake of your own quarterback.
Yeah. No,
And they haven't done that.
We're 100% behind Garoppolo. You see all the different polls they've done in San Francisco, and the fans of San Francisco don't want Tom Brady.
No.
They want to stay with Jimmy G.
Why not? You have a 28-year-old quarterback
know.
that brought you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know why Jimmy G would want to leave anyway, but there's talk that Jimmy G would be okay coming back to New England.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
I think that is interesting. I think Bill and Jimmy G had a nice relationship when they were here.
Yeah.
And maybe he
And McDaniels had a good relationship
Yeah.
with him, so who knows?
All right, 2 discussion questions. We're down to 3 minutes.
All right.
We got to talk a little bit about the coronavirus.
Yes, I do not have the coronavirus, even though I'm stuffy.
I would not be sitting here if you did.
Okay, good
All
thing.
right, so it's all major sports have banned media from the locker room. I'm not
Right.
really sure why.
I know the whole media thing with the 6 guys that are going to go in there, 6 women, whatever it is. But come on,
That's
what's
that's theater.
Yeah.
That's not.
You got
that's
you
not
got
doing
80
anything.
you got 80,000 in the stadium.
So the next step is empty stadiums.
Yeah.
And LeBron says he's not playing in front of an empty stadium, but
Yeah.
March Madness is right around the corner.
You saw
and
what Ivy League just did today.
Ivy League canceled.
The
their
Ivy League
playoffs.
canceled it and gave it to Yale,
Yep.
and Harvard's not happy.
No.
But that's it. So Yale will represent the Ivy League in the NCAA tournament,
If there's an NCAA tournament.
if there's a tournament. That's a good
Or,
point.
and I'm kind of with there was some stuff, from the Harvard guys that they're really upset about this.
Yeah.
And he said, why don't we just play it with an empty stadium? And
Yeah,
I
that
agree
makes
with
sense,
that.
yeah.
And I think that March Madness is a good chance that March Madness is going to be empty stadiums.
Yeah, well.
Because it's going to be still in the heart.
Yeah.
The U.S. still hasn't seen the peak of this, and
No one knows what's going to happen. And I would be disappointed if March Madness were canceled, just because personally it's so much fun, and think of all the money that's made through March Madness. Just go ahead and do it with the empty stadiums, and we could sit on our TVs and watch it.
how would those games look like on TV with empty stadiums without any cheering or anything like that?
I know, it would be really interesting. You'd hear a lot of the coaches.
You would hear everything from the
Yeah,
coaches
so
and the players.
It'd be interesting.
It would
yeah.
be interesting. Next thing, and this came up last night at the Bo Kingswood game.
Oh yeah.
we were with Coach Kelly,
Yeah.
and we were talking about coaches' attire. And the Kingswood coaches had suit and ties or shirt and ties
Shirt
on.
and tie, yeah.
And the Bow coaches had kind of like golf shirts, sweatshirts.
Yeah, it was
type
kind of
things.
like a polo.
Yeah,
Right?
but and sweatpants.
Yeah.
Sweatpants.
Yeah,
type
like
stuff.
yeah.
And you did not like what the Bow coaches were wearing.
I didn't. You did though. You liked it.
Well, nobody should be surprised by that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not necessarily a
Well,
tie guy.
Yeah, I hear you.
And Coach Skelly chimed in, and he was complaining a little bit about, he wishes that he was able to not have to wear the uniform.
Right. So
on
Coach
the
Skelly
sidelines.
does baseball, and he has to wear the baseball uniform. Where Coach Shaw, who coaches softball, he can wear whatever he wants.
Right.
So.
And I'm with Coach Skelly on this. No 60-year-old man should have to put on a baseball uniform.
Remember us when we had to put those on with our kids? I mean, I looked like a sausage. It was terrible. But I agree with you. If I'm not playing, I shouldn't have to wear the uniform. So
I just remember I got like super large ones because
Yeah.
I didn't want the uniform identifying my curves. And
yeah.
God, that was just awful.
Yeah.
And so I think there's an age limit
Right.
where people should not have to wear that. And
Yeah.
in other sports, you don't see women's volleyball coaches wearing the women's volleyball uniforms.
Right. You don't see football coaches dressed in pads.
Or hockey coaches dressed in pads.
Yeah, or in skates.
It seems to be it's just baseball, and in Major
Yeah.
League Baseball it takes it a step further that they don't let you wear the overshirts. They have
Yeah, right.
you have to be an exact uniform. It's
Yeah.
just guys, get over yourself. I think at the high school level, middle school, I don't have any thing that governs me for middle school, so I'm a little wear
Just wear what
shorts
you
and
want. Yeah.
But I think at the high school level, it should be the same as softball.
Right.
A team shirt and a team shorts
Yeah,
or something
sure.
like that, or a team pants,
Right.
rather than the baseball uniform.
Yeah. How do you feel though about? I know we're out of time, but the basketball. So you kind of like the polo. I'm kind of more traditional. I like the shirt and tie for basketball coaches. But I don't know. So maybe I guess everyone was uniform. Maybe that would be good.
Those Bow coaches had all of them had the same exact thing on.
They did.
And I thought that looked pretty classy. It wasn't that they were dressed down. It's just that
No, it was just a
they were in
different type of uniform.
but they were in uniform.
Yeah.
Whereas the Kingswood coaches, they were dressed sharp,
They look good.
but they weren't dressed the same.
Right. Yep.
And so,
I get what you're saying,
as
yeah.
the unity, maybe they should be wearing the same thing. And I'm not putting down the Kingswood coaches at all because
No.
that's the general expectation is that
but it
basketball
looks like,
coaches.
so it looks like though from the perspective that we got high school basketball coaches at the high school level can dress however they want.
Yes,
Interesting. All right.
it is interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's mention our sponsors before
Yes.
we go. Downtown Grill
Skelly's Market.
and Morrissey's Porch and Pub.
Yes.
Getting better at that.
You're very good at that. And don't forget our producer Timothy Goodwin and Allie
Allie
Champagne
Champagne back
Thank you
there.
so much.
And we will see you next week.
Go Knights.
Go Knights.